Good morning. My name is Freddie, and today I'll be answering Creative Critical Reflection Question 3. How did your production skills develop throughout this project? So how did your organization of time, location, costumes, props, and actors develop? My group's organization skills developed a lot throughout the project. To start off, we made clear plans about where we would meet, what time we would start filming, when we would set up equipment, and what time we would finish on each filming day. This developed throughout the filming process as we became a lot more time efficient, and it allowed us to stay focused and avoid wasting any time, especially because we are filming outside of school in a public location at night, meaning we didn't have much time. Organization skills also developed as we carefully planned each shot we would film first and so that we could use our time efficiently. Having a clear schedule to follow meant we didn't have to decide things right on the spot, which is also why we use the shot list and the storyboard. And setting a finishing time also helps us be productive and made sure we completed what we needed to move on. For costumes and props, we became a lot more organized by preparing everything in advance rather than leaving it to the actual filming day. For example, we made the relic prop and the ghost costume beforehand so that we didn't waste any time during filming adjusting them. So the second question is, how did your camera skills develop? As a cameraman, my skills developed significantly throughout the project. I learned how to use equipment like the gimbal for tracking shots, which allowed smooth movement instead of it being wobbly. I also learned how to properly balance the gimbal every shoot so we were prepared, which allowed the footage to look more cinematic and professional. I also became confident with using camera manual settings, especially because we were filming at night. This meant that adjusting the exposure and aperture in low light would also help me understand how it can affect mood, so we learned how camera work could also engage the audience by reinforcing atmosphere. How did your use of lighting develop? We developed our use of lighting a lot compared to previous tasks, such as the preliminary task where we didn't make use of any lighting. We developed this through experimentation using the nan-light Pavo tube light sticks to control color and light intensity rather than only relying on natural light. For supernatural moments in the opening, we used red lighting to create effect by symbolizing danger and presence, especially in the relic. How did your editing skills develop? Editing became a lot more controlled and important later on in our project. As the editor, I developed this by using slower pacing at the beginning of the opening to build suspense and then faster pacing toward the end during intense moments. This helps create quick tension and a sense of panic as the narrative enters a disruption. I also experimented with color grading, which we had never done before, to create a darker and more atmospheric feeling. This shows our development in understanding that editing controls the emotional impact on the audience. Next question, how did your use of sound design develop? Sound design improved a lot throughout our project as we became a lot more intentional with how we use it to create emotion and atmosphere. I thought carefully about how diegetic and non-diegetic sound could build suspense early on and tension during scary moments. At the beginning, by layering eerie non-diegetic ambience over the urban city noises, it signaled to the audience that something was wrong before anything happened in the visuals. Subtle sounds like the ghost noise created sudden fear, as the audience could hear it but couldn't see it, which created fear of the unknown. During intense moments like when the ghost appears, I added sharp sudden stabs to increase shock, which is commonly used in horror movies. So overall, we developed a much better understanding of how sound can control the atmosphere and also by using experimentation. How did your use of the mise-en-scène develop? It developed because we became a lot more aware of how visual elements can show meaning. By carefully choosing a dark urban park, we could create a realistic but unsettling atmosphere. It also felt familiar to Thai audiences, which makes the horror feel close to them, making it even scarier. Our costume choices also became a lot more intentional. Our protagonist wears a school uniform, which represents innocence, which contrasts with the ghost's decayed white dress, which follows more traditional horror conventions. This also developed as we could link it to theories like binary opposition, as innocence is contrasted with evil. And lastly, how did your planning skills develop throughout the project? Planning skills developed as it became more detailed and had more structure. Compared to earlier storyboarding, our main task storyboard was a lot clearer with more specific shot ideas as we thought about how each shot would build tension. This serves as a clear and easy to follow guideline for days of filming. Overall, this project shows development in my production skills. How I've learned how important it is to plan carefully, experiment with techniques, and think about how every decision affects the audience. I'm now much more confident in the process of film production. Thank you.